The escalating conflict between Russia and Ukraine has brought the world closer to the specter of nuclear confrontation, sparking widespread alarm across NATO countries and beyond. Russian President Vladimir Putin's recent statements signaling a readiness to use nuclear weapons in defense of Russia have sent shockwaves through the global community. This development has raised fears of a catastrophic escalation, with many drawing parallels to the nuclear devastation of Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II. NATO has responded to this threat by strengthening its defense and deterrence measures, emphasizing its readiness while prioritizing de-escalation. The alliance's nuclear posture is built on the principle of deterrence, with member states like the US, the UK, and France maintaining robust nuclear arsenals to prevent any aggression. To complement this, NATO has deployed advanced missile defense systems in Eastern Europe and bolstered its military presence near Russia's borders. These measures aim to assure member states of their security and signal to Russia that any nuclear aggression would have severe consequences. Despite these preparations, NATO remains focused on avoiding direct confrontation with Russia. Diplomatic channels remain open as the alliance seeks to balance its support for Ukraine with the need to prevent the conflict from spiraling out of control. The West's provision of long-range missile systems to Ukraine has further complicated the situation, as these weapons allow Ukraine to target key Russian military infrastructure. While this support strengthens Ukraine's defensive capabilities, it also risks provoking Russia, which has warned of serious repercussions. Public reactions within NATO countries reflect the gravity of the situation. In Eastern European nations like Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia, which are closest to Russia, anxiety is particularly high. These countries view NATO's actions as essential to their security, with many citizens supporting increased military measures to deter Russian aggression. Civil defense drills and public awareness campaigns about nuclear safety underscore the heightened sense of vulnerability in the region. In Western Europe, sentiment is more divided. Countries like Germany, France, and the UK show broad support for Ukraine, but also express concerns about the economic and energy impacts of the prolonged conflict. In Germany, anti-nuclear protests have resurfaced, reflecting fears of escalation. Similarly, France and the UK have seen public calls for greater diplomatic efforts alongside military support to Ukraine. Southern European nations like Italy, Spain, and Greece, while less directly affected by the conflict, face significant economic strain due to rising energy prices and inflation. Public opinion in these countries leans toward resolving the crisis diplomatically to avoid further economic and geopolitical turmoil. Meanwhile, in North America, the US and Canada have maintained strong support for Ukraine, though concerns over the financial and military costs of continued involvement are growing. Across all NATO countries, a common theme emerges: fear of nuclear escalation. Citizens recognize the devastating consequences of such a scenario and trust NATO's ability to deter aggression, but the uncertainty surrounding the conflict fuels unease. Economic concerns also weigh heavily, as inflation and energy crises caused by the war impact daily lives. The global community now faces a critical moment. While NATO remains prepared to respond to any nuclear threat, the focus must be on preventing escalation through diplomacy and dialogue. The lessons of history serve as a stark reminder of the catastrophic